Madam Speaker, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Member of Parliament. I rise today to express my support for the 2016-2017 Appropriation Bill and Budget, and to thank the Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Minister for Economy and his team for a great effort in setting the spending priorities for the next fiscal year. Madam Speaker, I also wish further to congratulate again the Honourable Minister for Economy, along with the Minister for Tourism and the Honourable Minister for Youth and Sports, and all involved for the successful hosting of the inaugural Super Rugby game between the Gallagher Chiefs and the BNZ Crusaders in Suva last week. Indeed, this spectacular event highlights enormous potential Fiji possesses for similar events in the future, and also the great opportunity it presents to show Fiji's hospitality and warmth regardless of what kind of weather it is met. On a more solemn note, I wish to also publicly condemn the perpetrators of the recent terrorist attack in Dhaka, Bangladesh, and express our sincere condolences to the foreign victims and Bangladeshi people for the suffering they have endured. Madam Speaker, the 2006-2017 budget is a blueprint for our spending as a nation next year that secures Fiji's future and advances the values of equality, fairness, personal responsibility, and good governance. Madam Speaker, I wish to focus my comments this evening, on the allocation provided to the department under my portfolio. The Ministry of Defence, National Security and Immigration is tasked with the coordination and supervision of all activities and functions of government related to national security. The Ministry has undergone the review of the Fiji national security and defence sector. The national security policy has been finalised and completed the required rounds of consultation and has gone through the warranted review process. This project will progress in staggered phases and intended to be completed in 2018. The outcome of this review will see a more streamlined national security and defence establishment tailored to meet our evolving national security needs through a more integrated government approach in mitigating the relevant threats. The Ministry of Defence, National Security and Immigration has been allocated a budget of $8.6 million that will enable it to operate and deliver its normal services, including policy advice and the implementation of the various legislation under the Ministry. 2016-2017 fiscal allocation sees the slight increase from last year that the Ministry is appreciative of in order to enhance productivity and service. From this $8.6 million, $3.2 million is allocated to the Ministry headquarters, while the balance is allocated to the Immigration Department. This 3.2 allocation sees the continuing set-aside budget of $100,000 towards the completion of the National War Memorial in Veuto. The Ministry will work in partnership with the Fiji Museum in promoting the new military museum to both locals and overseas visitors to recognize and commemorate the sacrifice of Fijians in the various conflicts we have served. The Ministry also acknowledged the increased operating expenses towards the National Security Council, which contributes to the security environment and progress nationally and the contribution to the region and internationally. The Department of Immigration has been provided with budget allocation of $5.4 million. The Department, of course, is responsible for providing an efficient, effective immigration services through the administration and enforcement of immigration legislation. The Ministry is appreciative to the government that the department has received an allocation of $450,000 for the integrated passport insurance system. This centralized the issuing of passport as part of our overall aim to reach out to the public, especially those in the rural areas. Having issue centers for passport located in immigration offices in Lautoka for the west and Lambas to the northern parts of Fiji, as well as our embassies overseas, will significantly ease the burden of ordinary Fijians wanting to acquire a passport. It will make the issuing process faster and smoother, and also reduce the cost of Fijians of having to travel to a central location as in the past. The alignment to the amendment of the Passport Act 2003 is evident in this budget, in that it allows for the introduction of the new official passport to be used by the deployed disciplined forces personnel of peacekeeping duties. Madam Speaker, I also wish to express my sincere appreciation on behalf of the Fiji Police for the increase in the budget provision. The Fiji Police Force is mandated by law to maintain law and order, preserve peace, protecting people and their properties, investigate and bring offenders to justice, and uphold the rule of law. In short, the police are tasked to ensure every Fijian feels secure in their homes and free to go about their daily business without fear of criminal violence or intimidation. To achieve that, Fiji needs a police force that is responsive, versatile, well-trained staff, free of blame, and supported by appropriate equipment and technology. Madam Speaker, the total budget allocation of $181.7 million in the new financial year provision will no doubt help the police in carrying out its obligation according to law and satisfy the demands and expectations of citizens of this nation, so to speak. Madam Speaker, as alluded to in the budget address, this provision is an increase of $5.4 million in comparison to the 2016 allocation. Madam Speaker, please allow me to discuss in summary the provision of the police budget. In terms of operating provision, $102.5 million has been allocated for additional position at the border, adjustment in salaries for some ranks, compensate shortfall of FNPF contribution and the increment of pay for civilians. This is an increase of $3.2 million in comparison to the 2006 provision. Madam Speaker, 6.7% is allocated for capital construction, which witnesses an increase of $3.9 million compared to 2016. The key initiatives funded in this budget for the police force program include construction of the new Wailea police station amounting $1.95 million, $900,000 allocated for the construction of new Nakasi police station, renovation and extension of police post and station of $900,000, which include the renovation of Nani police station. $1 million has been allocated for the upgrade and replacement of police living quarters around the country. The projects that will be undertaken are as follows: demolition construction of new 2x4 masonite band barracks A and B quarters at Missouri. The construction of Nalau police station, the construction of Nayabu police post. Furthermore, $1 million has been allocated for the construction of Lautoka police station, which has been completely damaged by tropical cyclone Winston. Madam Speaker, provision of capital purchase as follows: the sum of $379,000 has been allocated for quality assurance system for the forensic bio and DNA lab. $400,000 is provided for leasing of communication equipment to mitigate police communication system from analog to a full digital multi-band platform. It will be an expensive exercise requiring a 5-year rollout period. The upgrade will allow full network connectivity among the 4 police divisions and the police headquarters for the first time. Phase 1 of the project has commenced from year 2015 and will finish off in year 2020. The Fiji Police Force is currently utilizing the site in the Divisional Command Center, Rural and Maritime Station. $350,000 is allocated for the purchase of traffic management equipment. $400,000 is provided for the purchase of standard equipment to ensure that all officers are properly equipped whilst performing their duties. Standard equipment is needed to protect the officers from injuries, helping them make arrests and contain volatile situations. Sum of $200,000 is collected for the purchase of special operation equipment to be used for disaster, civil disturbance, and search and rescues. The purchase of analytic forensic chemistry equipment is funded at $400,000. The police is in dire need for additional half-cabin boats and engines. For the maritime policing, these boats will be used by officers to attend cases in out islands and also to facilitate emergency evacuation during disaster, whereby $627,500 has been provided. The sum of $135,000 has been allocated for the phase 1 purchase and installation of solar power for the first time for the maritime police posts, mainly Mate, Wailea, Murambi, Korta, Sere, Sangani, Lake Kutu, Moala, Namarai, Kes, and Adula. 490,000 is allocated for the purchase of specialized police vehicles. Furthermore, 200,000 is provided for the purchase of IT equipment. Madam Speaker, in a nutshell, the increased additional funding in the 2016-2017 operating budget is for the appointment of new officers to address manpower shortage in the border police, and the increased funding in the capital budget for the construction of new police station posts and renovation of living quarters that sustained damage during Cyclone Missy. Republic Fugitive Military Forces, Madam Speaker, the primary responsibility of the RFMF to ensure at all times and security, defense and well-being of Fiji and all Fijians. The RFMF has also been an important pillar of our foreign policy through its significant contribution to United Nations peacekeeping operations in trouble areas around the world. To achieve that, the RFMF needs to be acknowledged, adaptable, resilient, skilled, committed and ably supported logistically and technically to meet its objectives. Madam Speaker, the total budget allocation of $96.4 million in the new financial year provision will no doubt help the RFMF in carrying out its obligation, even though it is a decrease of $3.5 million in comparison to 2006 allocation of $99.9 million. The RFMF operating provision for the new financial year is $87.1 million. This has been allocated for adjustment in salaries for some ranks, compensate shortfall for FNP contribution, and new provision for the hydrographic department. The separation of the hydrographic department budget from the Navy is due to better control and practice for good governance, given the different roles they play in our maritime zone. The operating provision is an increase of $364,000 in comparison to 2006 provision. Madam Speaker, $6.8 million is allocated for the capital construction, which is a decrease of $2.7 million to the 2016 budget allocation. The decrease is attributed to the decrease in the Integrated Peacekeeping Center Black Rock budget. The significant program allocated in the budget for the RFMF includes, I'll name a few, to support the role of the Army Engineers Unit for the safe storage of the military, weapons, ammunition, explosive, about $1.1 million is provided to construct a new magazine and upgrade the armory at Queen Elizabeth Barracks. The ongoing upgrade of military facilities at Tuvasu Hall, Sukarno Barracks, logistics support unit complex, and general maintenance upgrade of the force training group. Peacekeeping, Madam Speaker, peacekeeping has witnessed significant growth since the 1990s and has evolved to become a cornerstone of the international community response to international crisis. It helps countries torn by conflict create conditions for sustainable peace. Peacekeeping began with a primary military model of observing ceasefire and separating combatants after interstate wars. Today, peacekeeping has evolved and expanded into an integrated system of many elements: military, police, and civilian personnel working together to build peace in the dangerous aftermath of a conflict. Experts have pointed to a strong inverse correction between peacekeeping deployments and war casualties. That is, as peacekeeping goes up, war casualties goes down, in both the short and long term. A major interdependent study found that the UN provides the most suitable institutional framework for all, but the largest and most demanding of nation-building missions due to the UN comparatively low-cost structure, high success rate, and high degree of international legitimacy. Madam Speaker, the RFMF and the Fijian police have been the Fijian government vehicle to support and participate in global peace and security initiatives. For over 3 decades, since 1978, our servicemen and women have participated in peacekeeping operations in trouble spots around the world, including Lebanon, Sinai, East Timor, Bougainville, Somalia, Sudan, Iraq, and the Golan Heights. This commitment has lifted our profile internationally and has given us a disproportionate influence in various international forums in relation to our size. We are punching above our weight, and I acknowledge around the world for doing so. The increase of 2016-2017 budget to $79 million is seen to include and cover the rearrangement of peacekeeping deployments, especially to the reconfiguration operation of multinational force and observer in the Sinai and the redeployment consideration by the RFMF. Additional advantage of UN peacekeeping is its multinational nature, which it provides impartiality and legitimacy. Staff members experience in most conflict peace-building operations and a well-oiled structure for coordinating international assistance. Peacekeeping operation has contributed to the enhancement of Fiji bilateral defense cooperation with foreign countries and their defense forces, forging ties in the provision of aid in humanitarian assistance and help for natural disaster. An example of this is the Foreign Defense Forces assistance to Fiji in the wake of tropical cyclone Winston. Madam Speaker, as part of the Fiji commitment to global security, the Honourable Prime Minister pledged Fiji continued involvement in peacekeeping arena. And this is a clear indication of our determination to maintain this commitment, which is highly valued by the international community. In regards to Honourable Moses and Bulatabo comments, I just want to highlight a few. I'm somewhat encouraged that the Honourable Member is concerned towards the security of the nation and wish to refer to the queries raised by Honourable Bulatabo. I just highlight a few. Forensic bio-DNA. This project is implemented in three phases. Commencing 2016, we have utilized 732,200 as part of the first phase, and for the next financial year. Police is again requesting 379,000 as the second phase. In the third phase, it will be solely on the warranty and service level agreement to the equipment. On communication equipment, the equipments are on lease to own, and at the end of the 5-year 2020, police will own equipment. The total cost is 1.96 million, and the police is required to pay 400,000 annually for a period of 5 years. Traffic management, the purchase and calibration of speed detectors and breathalyzer equipment are done on an annual basis, and the cost continues to increase as the calibration officers of the supplier comes to Fiji to conduct tests at our cost as determined by the LTA Act of 1998. Standard equipment, this is needed to ensure police officers are fully equipped when they are deployed in operation. At present, not all officers are fully equipped, hence the reason we would request additional funding, and this is also used for replacement damaged equipment. On the forensic equipment, the project was put on hold this financial year due to the redeployment of funds. However, the same amount is required in the next financial year. These are the consumable and equipment with warranty utilized in the daily and specialized forensic chemistry analysis. For example, marijuana testing, urine, and lips. I have already mentioned the upgrading of various police stations, but they should meet the Honourable Member's concern of available cells. Conclusion, Madam Speaker, to conclude, in order to continue the government positive growth outlook of 2017 and beyond, it is vital for us to produce safety, security, and stability. Only with this can we create the necessary environment to attract investment for development and real opportunities for our people to prosper. Madam Speaker, with total appropriation of 236.8 million provided to the departments under my ministerial portfolio, government is ensuring that the organization entrusted with our security and defense remains efficient, effective, and agile enough to meet current emerging challenges. Madam Speaker, I have great pleasure in commending it to the House as an effective blueprint to continue moving our nation forward. Thank you, Madam Speaker. On that note, I would like to reiterate my support